Hi, good morning. Paul Slackers, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Catherine Cassidy. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Taste of Home. And then you have a tasteofhome.com website, and you have a cooking book, okay? So when did you start cooking?
Wow. Well, my mother would probably disagree with this because my first forms of cooking were not really all that great. It was a lot of hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. But so I guess it's been about 35 years, I think, that I first started cooking. Definitely developed my craft over the years as I was, feeding family and entertaining friends. And, cooking is one of those things that, thankfully, the more you do it, I think it's not that you get better, it's just that you get more comfortable and, more confident. And I think it allows you to, try new things. So that's where I'm at right now.
When you did your macaroni and cheese, but it's kind of fun because the fact is that macaroni and cheese could be one of the most popular foods around.
Oh,
they serve it at very exquisite parties. And how do you make a macaroni and cheese? What would you? And now, 35 years later, how would you do anything different than when you were starting?
Well, when I started, and with all due respect to Kraft, it came out of a box and it had orange cheese. Now I actually have a really terrific, we call it grown-up mac and cheese, and it has chicken in it, and it's, you basically make a roux, which is a white sauce, and you add your cheese, and that's what makes it so incredibly creamy, and, to it you add a little bit of garlic and a little bit of onion and some bacon, which everything is better with bacon, of course, and bake it all up. My daughter, I freeze these, and my daughter, when she gets home from school, she will just slice off a chunk, and she'll go through an entire casserole in a week's time by herself. So macaroni and cheese has it's evolved here in my home, and that actually is a Taste of Home recipe.
Right. So when you say a roux, what does a roux mean? Is that a French word? I don't know if I know that word.
It's R-O-U-X, and it basically it means, I'm not even sure what it means, and that's terrible because I'm the editor of Taste of Home. But it's a white sauce that's made with flour and butter and and some and liquid, whatever kind of liquid. It could be wine, it could be milk, it could be water, but it's a thickener. And so you would just add your cheese to that, and it keeps the cheese. It makes it melt and be nice and wonderful and not chunky. And you can find out if you're looking. I mean, now my mouth is watering. I'm wanting macaroni and cheese. There's great macaroni and cheese recipes in the Taste of Home Cookbook. There's also some great mac and cheese recipes on our website on tasteofhome.com. So if we've got you all whipped up about mac and cheese, that's where to go.
Now you do have great success with your Taste of Home Cookbook as well, right? Isn't it like one of the most popular books by far in America?
Oh well, yes. Taste of Home magazine is the largest food magazine in the world, believe it or not. We have 3.2 million subscribers, and the Taste of Home Cookbook, we've sold over 2 million copies. I mean, it's very, very popular, and I don't take any credit for that. That is because our recipes come from our readers. We really we're a reflection of the way people are cooking in their own homes. Our recipes are made with affordable, everyday ingredients. We test them in our test kitchen to make sure they work. So I think for a lot of people, that whole combination, makes Taste of Home kind of a cooking secret weapon. You know that if you try a Taste of Home recipe, it's going to work because somebody's taken the time to, and is proud enough to send it in to us, and then, we, the great folks in my test kitchen, make sure that it's going to work.
Food seems to be off the charts, I think. The Food Network is doing extremely well, and just in general, I know people that had no desire to cook are watching the Food Network now. No desire. I mean, they love to eat, but they have no desire to cook. Who are saying, I mean, I'm going to give one of them a cooking classes present, for the holiday. What do you think it is? What's going on with food?
Well, it is. I think the Food Network has elevated cooking to a particular coolness now. And we have been in a recession, and I think what happens, and this isn't singular just to this particular point in history. When times get tough, people go to the kitchen. They're not going out as much. They're not spending. They're kind of coming home and putting dinner on the table more. So I think it's a combination of things that, and of course it's been fabulous for those of us in in food publishing, because people are looking for ways to make cooking work at home, and Taste of Home is really it's always been about budget friendly. And I think it's because no matter where you live in America, we need to make sure that you can go to the supermarket and buy what you need. And in Cheyenne, Wyoming, there may not be a gourmet grocery store, and out in the Midwest, which is where we have our, where Taste of Home has its roots. So, anywhere you go in the country, we need to make sure that you can find what you're looking for, and, so that means pretty affordable stuff.
I think also, I've said, I worked at Channel 13 here in New York, WNET, and they decided to create a cooking book. They have the pledge drives and all that kind of PBS stuff. And I put a recipe in there, a contagious tuna fish, right? And I'll tell you, personally, I don't think I was ever happier in life, because people say they would try it. And it's really a good feeling when people like what you've either created or in this case. So I'm sure everybody who's ever put a recipe in your cookbook is like a hero of the town.
Oh, absolutely. There is a huge point of pride for people that my recipe was published in Taste of Home. I mean, that's it's a big deal, because I think our readers in particular, they cook because they want to show people that they care, and here it is, this recipe that they have created, and that their family loves, their friends love, and and it's out there for everyone to see. It's a huge, a very proud moment, I think, for our readers. Yes.
Well, it's like getting a little an award, a James Beard Award.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give us a good one right now for Thanksgiving. And the holiday season, overall holiday season. What's one that's been sent in that you'd like to share?
Well, here's one of my favorites. We're always looking for what to do with the Thanksgiving leftovers. So here is it's a Thanksgiving. It's called Taste Like Thanksgiving Casserole, and essentially it is like a shepherd's pie. Only you're using your cooked turkey, stuffing, whatever vegetables, like if you've made carrots or peas and you have those left over, you put a little bit of gravy on that. This is all like in a 13-by-9 dish, and then you cover it with leftover mashed potatoes and you bake it. And it's just, it's marvelous, and this is somebody's creation out there. But you will actually, if I've whet your appetite, you can find this on tasteofhome.com right now. But it's just all the flavors of Thanksgiving wrapped up into one lovely casserole.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I'll mention on our YouTube site, food, and I interview, celebrities galore, all about doing good, in the world, and presidents and Nobel Prize. It's the food recipes. We have a Peking duck interview that I did. It's like the number one story. Food is in.
Oh, yeah. It is in. And just you mentioned something about giving back, and, the Cooks Who Care edition is our new edition of the Taste of Home Cookbook that's out. So this is people not only that are cooking to show that they care, but they're using their cooking to give back in some way. And so there's some great stories, and you can find them in the cookbook. But, this is such a genuine thing and a great time of year to, to be using your cooking to give to those in need.
Do you recollect one of those by chance?
There is.
Where they're giving back?
Yeah, one of my favorites was a 12-year-old girl from Cedar Falls, Iowa, and she learned at church about African children who were suffering from malaria, and she was so moved by this, she wanted to do something. So she, her grandmother helped her organize a bake sale, and she raised over $600 for mosquito nets. You know, the netting that they use to put over bedding. And it just, it's just a remarkable story that you don't any age and any amount. It doesn't, just whatever you can do in your own neighborhood. Another woman in Utah who had a neighbor whose child was going through chemotherapy, so she organized the whole neighborhood to fill this family's freezer with meals, and did that during during the whole time the child was going through chemotherapy. So it's just stories like this, and it it kind of chokes you up a little bit, and yet these things there are ways everywhere in our own backyards and in our own communities that that we can help out somehow. Through church, through organizations, right in your neighborhood. So the idea behind Cooks Who Care is really just to inspire and celebrate these acts, and maybe give everyone a few ideas, a little bit of inspiration for how they might do the same, help out someone.
That's great. We love it. We love those PTA where they have the foods and everywhere. Right. They're just such blessed people, and doing good soup kitchens, so on and so forth. It's really wonderful. Well, it's wonderful what you guys are doing and have been doing. Last question, and we'd love to do more with you with video and so on. So, what's good news for you?
Good news is I will be celebrating Thanksgiving with my family, and there's nothing better than that. Just having the people around you that you love. So I wish that for everyone out there.
Beautiful. Great pleasure, honor. Thanks so much for sharing good news with us.
Oh, thank you.
Bye-bye.